I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
Oh, no, go. You can go in.
No, I like. I'm fine with these new decks top eighting. Like, I think that's like a big success for these decks and people seeing these decks and people seeing decks that aren't
Randy.
just Draven. But let's do it.
Randy back on stream. He's got his translator with him. He is the Sivir going up. I'm wondering what the matchup is. I think I saw somewhere someone saying that Sivir Kaisa was the matchup, but we'll see if that ends up being the case in just a moment. Randy played out of his mind in that first game, or the first set. Is playing really, really well. He's no mistakes when it came to the deck count. It's
Kaisa.
a lot easier in untimed rounds. You can just kind of write it down, and it's not a problem.
Oh.
But I know Randy can do it without the notes as well. I've seen him do it in testing games plenty of times. So
might as well.
And obviously during the timed rounds, I don't know how much he's actually writing. I think he's probably often doing it off the top of his head. It takes up too much time. But here we go.
Now the question is, which version of Kaisa do you think we're going to see? Because I know there's some decks people have been trialing. Do you think it's just like generic Kaisa with like set 2 cards? Like
that's really all I've seen. I guess
I've seen like a really
Mech
dumb,
Kaisa.
I was gonna say I've seen a really dumb Mech Kaisa that I kind of would love to just see do well.
I think the Mech Kaisa has been pretty out of verdict. I think that was like week 1 of set 2 Kaisa, and I don't think we've really seen that much of it since. Like
Kaisa.
Unless we're calling Mech Kaisa any Kaisa deck with Pharaoh's Forerunner, then that's like all Kaisa lists. But yeah, most of them are still playing
true, so we can call it Mech Kaisa if we'd like. Thank you.
Belvin's approval means it's not the name of the deck by any stretch.
All right, so starting out, of course, this on Warrens for the side of Sivir, and we've got the Void Gate coming through for Kaisa. I'm wondering what Void Gate is going to be able to hit in this matchup. If Sivir is ever on the Void Gate, that does kind of open up the ability for the Ray to get there, and then there's nothing that's going to really affect the Rosses too much. I don't know that Void Gate is going to find a ton of value in this spot, but we'll see if it ends up coming up throughout this game.
I mean, I'm sorry, I was going to make a dumb comment, so go ahead, Marshall.
I'm just thinking Void Gate wise, like if he's running Rain, he can get like good Rain value from like 2 targets of Rain on a Rasa, but that's like the only thing I can think of that's like that feels good into the Rasa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I really like Void Gate right now in the current meta, but I don't know that it's going to do much in this current matchup here. Looks like the Warp is going to get sent home.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much at this point the Kaisa is aware of the deck. Right at top 4, at a certain point, you have to kind of know what is going to be happening from Randy. He had a streamed match as well, so little cat's out of the bag here on what's happening, because a lot of it, Yuge was talking about in China, they just have literally 0 players playing Sivir like this. It's all Aurora.
Right.
So a lot of players have been talking about it. They had the WeChat was blowing up about Randy's Sivir deck and what's been happening, and people have been very, very interested in this list. And a lot of players seem to be pretty caught off guard with what it's doing.
Mm. Well, we've seen like the stacked deck package in other decks, like with Draven and with some of the other decks, but it's not had great showings on the streams. Like it has been very like it was like the first time I played the deck, and I'm like, this deck is cute but quite lackluster. When in reality, if a master is playing it, it is unbelievable what it can do.
And we were able to get some good vision of that with Randy in the previous game. Just going to start out with a little bit of a treasure trove.
Oh, okay.
You do actually get to find some gold with the treasure trove when playing Sivir, and still going to be able to follow it up with a seal to crack this. Gonna help out quite a bit.
Seems good.
Sarah, how you been feeling about this version of Sivir? Because I know you're an Aurora enjoyer. But people have been trying versions of this for a while. I think Randy has put a ton of work into it and found a very good version, but I know other people have done it, so I know you've seen a similar version of this list before.
Yes, I played against this list quite a bit. I played with it, against it, on both sides. I do think it is a very good way to play Sivir. I think playing Sivir Aurora is also just the best Aurora deck, but that's not to say like that you shouldn't play mid-range Sivir or anything. I've been telling people for a while you should probably play mid-range Sivir if you want to not play Draven. I think it does all the silly things that are in the format at once, which is Seal Abusal, does Gold Abusal better than anybody else. I mean, Ezreal Treasure Trove is a very good like portion of this deck, because essentially, as everybody knows from probably playing this format, you don't really want to do anything on turn 2, or excuse me, on turn 1 when you have 2 mana. Like, if you're on Reaver's Row game, you don't really want to play into that. You don't want to just play a random unit to get died. Things like Kaisa, Victor, all this stuff. So being able to play Treasure Trove on turn 1, see an extra card, and make your first gold, which is like almost like playing a seal and getting a card deeper and all these things, then later on in the game you can use it for ramp, is actually the most broken part of the Sivir deck. There's other things that are good about it as well. But compared to all the other decks who are trying to do like fake Draven, you know, like Jinx is trying to do it, this deck's trying to do it, all these decks are trying to be fake Draven, a fake Miracle deck. This one I think does it the best because it actually plays into all the strengths, both on like a non-game axis where you don't really interact with your opponent, and then also it just does very powerful things itself.
Yep. I agree. I think a lot of the one-ofs are just super powerful in orange as well, right? Like, well, Punch First is probably a 2, but like it's your one of Punch First that you've got for your end game to try and win that final combat. Challenge being a pretty strong ability in this format. Yes. I think the Chosen Champion is quite good, right? So that's also just kind of a benefit for Sivir. I think it having ganking rarely comes up, but it can exist, and then also just the fact that it is like a 6 accelerate from the champ zone is powerful. It's a really good thing to be doing. And then even from there, like on the hunt, while that signature spell is like, it's like low key. It's not the most exciting signature spell in a deck like this. It becomes very good as a one of that you kind of just like find exactly on the turn that it wins you the game, and it's not ever clogging up your hand or ever being an issue.
Did the Kaisa miss trigger on the gold? Where's the gold?
Yes, they did. They missed it.
Okay. It's gonna be Warren's. Still digging a bit deeper. Second Ezreal in hand. Having one seal already is great for Randy. And it looks like there was a call shot as well. So he's just going to be churning through this entire deck very quickly. We're going to be at the second cycle, probably like turn 5, I would suppose, at this point. So he's going to know every card in his deck at that point.
Bit of a offer on the...
Come on, Billy. Come on, Billy.
Jarvis, fix the stream, please. Thank you.
Jarvis, save Billy. I just refreshed Billy on my end. It is working.
Oh no, it is on the Billy. You can see the little scroller on the top, like it's on there.
Yeah, no, but Jarvis probably just has to hit a refresh.
Oh, okay.
Because it's working on my end now on the normal Billy.
Yeah, I didn't.
So we'll see if we can get it.
Randy was too powerful. He was processing the processing power of this deck destroyed the stream.
Yep. All good. So didn't get to see the search with the buffering, so we don't know exactly what's going to be on the bottom for the stack. But
I saw a seal go on the bottom right when we came back.
Okay. Now we start the sabotage train. Really tough for Kaisa as you start to tear through some of this hand, but being able to get the extra draws from her Champ Zone signature champion helps out a little bit to keep up. There's currently 7 cards. Sabotage is not completely shredding everything out of the hand yet.
Out the choice here, what are you guys picking? You can see Void Seekers, Hextech Ray, 2 Fallen Stars. The Singularity.
What is our board? An Ezreal, and we're going to develop another unit. Oh, they took the Singularity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, if there was only one Falling Star, it's possible that Falling Star can be the take, but when you're thinking long term, the Singularity is more threatening into the Rasas and actually killing Sivir. So kind of makes sense to deal with the Singularity first. But in this case, actually we're going to see maybe some relevance from this Void Gate with Sivir sitting there into Falling Star.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I wonder how well equipped, and I'm sure Randy plays a bunch and has played Kaisa a bunch in set 1. I wonder how well equipped both his game plan and this deck is to play into Kaisa, because Kaisa in this set is kind of going for a little bit of what they did in set 1, but also playing a little bit more heavier into something like Victor type of style. You're casting a lot of spells, avoiding combat in your own way. Obviously, Falling Star is still amazing. Acathian Rain, less so, as we see a lot more people move to Singularity in this type of format. You kind of just want big damage on 1 or 2 units, as opposed to set 1, where spreading it out was a little bit better. So we're going to see Randy's board most likely get wiped here from this falling star.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if it is a game 2, game 3 strategy. I think he has room for unyielding. I know it's been in the board multiple times. I don't know if it currently is in the board. I think it is. My assumption is that he's going to have it in the board.
Generally,
because I think he has room for it. Yeah.
Yeah, with a deck like this, you would generally kind of smorgasbord your sideboard because you are just seeing your whole deck.
Yeah, exactly.
No one card that is good in this meta wouldn't already be in your main deck because you are in a little bit of insular meta where it's like you got to target Draven or Elia and like pick one other random deck. So you have like a splattering of things in your sideboard. You'd expect to see one unyielding, and you churn through the deck very quickly, as usual with most of the silver bullet cards in Riftbound. It's just going to be a matter of if they line up properly. They do cost yet again another power, which this deck doesn't necessarily struggle with, but sometimes they can get very low. So it'll be interesting to see in the sideboard games. But yeah, I don't know how much you were expecting a Kaisa in top 4 if you're Randy at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure he's not like, this is not something he's super excited about having to play Kaisa in top 4. Like, I think he'd rather it just be a Draven, right? Like, he would just be happier if it's just a Draven that he has to deal with. But I know he does have reps into Kaisa. This is not like something he doesn't have reps into. And as you pointed out, like Randy was like set one Kaisa guy as far as guide. Like there's a couple of Kaisa guides out there. Randy's was one of the most popular. He played a ton of Kaisa over the course of that set. So of course he's very familiar with what this deck is going to look like. He, updated it for Spiritforged, if I remember correctly. And like I know he put a bunch of reps into Kaisa at the start of Spiritforged as well, trying to recognize what he thinks this deck would be. So he certainly has a game plan. I just personally have not watched him play this matchup because I'm not a Kaisa player. So when I've been testing with him, it's not a matchup I've been playing. So I don't know his 100% strategy into this. When I see how like the spells line up against his units, he has like a lot of 3s, a lot of 6s. So the spells kind of can get there. And really, it feels like for Randy, he's never going to get like fatigued on units. It's a shovel deck. Like he's always just going to be able to bring stuff back. But the issue would be if he cannot keep the units off the board. And right now, like this is just 400 little guys that have been played by the Kaisa. And that is something that can be difficult for this deck to kind of manage. You don't have ways to kind of like street sweep and deal with all these little things.
Yep. We've essentially played 4.5 2 to 3 mana recruits as if we were Victor in this game and have lost close to nothing for it. We've either got a card back in the Yordles or will eventually get a card back in the Sentry. And then the one unit that didn't like produce this outcome was a Plundering Poro, who will give us a gold, which we can use for another type of advantage and our economy advantage. So it's kind of like playing against Control Victor, but as you've stated, Randy still knows there's going to be things like Kaisa coming out accelerated, potentially Darius. Watcher's always, was the bread and butter of set 1, less good in set 2, but still potent when you are essentially a few unit deck. As you mentioned, you're probably never getting fatigued in the theory of like, oh, I'm just going to run out of units. But you also can't necessarily splurge the board well on non-miracle turns. When you throw out 3 Rosses, you throw out 3 Rosses. It's amazing. But on most of your other turns, you're like 1 unit, some draw, combat spell, your turn. And Kaisa's like, oh, here's 2 units and a Falling Star. And you're like, that does what I'm trying to do, but a lot more effectively.
Yeah.
So playing up Fizz, looking for the cold shot. Guessing it's repeated because of the Ezreal.
Yeah.
You see a stack deck and punch first. I think that is.
Yep.
Feels like he's gonna have to just dump a million might on one turn. I think he's trying to find all the Rosses, and that's like how he's gonna try and claw this back a little bit. Another call shot, so that can help him dig even deeper. He is, I believe, is that 10? I think he's got 10 in the bin, or is at least very close to 10 in the bin, to be able to start just jamming these Rosses.
Yeah, Jarvis, can we get trash counter on stream? Thank you.
Storm count, please.
Yes, storm count.
Yeah. It's interesting. We're going to see probably the one matchup, and as we see the shovel here, which is very important if you're worried about the fatigue aspect. And you see Randy kind of going over because he's kind of like, how much do I need punch first? All of your units are 2s. All of your units are 1s. But he does know there will be a big turn that eventually comes, most likely revolving around Watcher, maybe Darius Cleave, depending on what this deck plays. So I had to be a little disciplined there to realize I'm probably not getting fatigued. I'm just going to lose on tempo. So I need something in the immediate. Whereas in most other control variant matchups with a deck like this, you would take the shovel. But Kaisa just does it in a very interesting way.
Yeah.
9 cards in trash, I believe. 2, 4, 5, 6,
yeah,
7.
Looks like 9.
8, 9. Yeah.
Didn't see all the Rosses just yet. The stack deck makes it 10. I think there was just one Rossa in hand, if I'm remembering correctly.
One in hand from what we saw.
We can only
I
play
don't-
2 purple.
I never
well.
saw one get bottomed. I don't know if
There
was
may actually have been.
the stacked earlier, or not the stacked, but the call shot earlier that we missed. It's possible that we lost one there.
Possible there. Most likely they're still in the ghost stack, or just your natty stack as your deck would sit, and you've really had no manipulation on it. We didn't catch that stack deck, and I assume Randy would have took it if it was there. So if there is 2 in hand, the other one is probably floating somewhere. But through really just being able to track your whole deck in this game, which I personally hate, it's probably coming up soon.
I also don't love the writing down everything being like allowed. What I do know is that at least even if they got rid of it, Randy would be fine because I have played with him when he's not doing it. But
I don't
we also know
mind.
that Vero because we play Fab, right? Like you have to be able to do
I
this.
seize
Right?
my opponent. I write down 3 or 4 cards. I move on. I'm playing at Houston, and some opponent tries to write down 17 of my Aurora revealed cards, and I'm just like, "Can we hurry up, please?" And it's and like I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be rude. It's just that I think there's a skill test to memory. Some people agree, some people don't. It's completely fair. But I also think there's a time portion of this game which already gets stretched 100%. To the umph degree. Yep. And writing down things for some people can be very slow. And you can't really penalize people for having like slow dexterity or writing, both from depending on the country and a legality standpoint, and also just it would be like it would be unfair, right? Just like, so it's a very contentious thing, and with the time rules and Riftbound, it could be a little worse. But like I said, I agree. Randy probably doesn't need it once you play this deck enough. You can kind of calculate that the Rossas are coming up in the next few turns, and we'll see. I don't know if there's the confront bushwhack type strategies can bring it back in this game. Because at this point, we could just full pull back at this point and have access to Singularity, Watcher, and all these things. And I don't mean to write Randy out so quickly, but I'm very interested to see the sideboarding strategies from him more so than the Kaisa.
I have the same opinion here. I actually think Randy might be writing Randy out of this particular game and thinking about his sideboard in his game 2 and 3. I don't think I don't think he's probably too worried matchup wise that this is over, but this certainly was not a good start. This was all of the low cost units for Kaisa. That is not what you want to see on the Sivir side of things. That's way too much stuff happening early. And if we look at the rest of the hand, this was all just low cost and then removal that is quite good against the deck, right? The Falling Stars being able to answer Fizz and Ezreal, the Singularities being locked and loaded, ready to go against the Rossas. Saboed one away and then another one was drawn. So a lot of the stuff that you wanted to avoid, and it does feel like actually Kaisa has some good ways to line up into this because this is a meta where of course you're playing 3 Falling Star, but you also may be playing 3 Singularity in these Kaisa decks, and that starts to cause some potential issues. And I do think I'm wondering if this is something that got accounted for in his deck building for this event, knowing that Kaisa was relatively highly represented. If he ended up indexing even further into those unyieldings, because it's possible he can play even more than one. The sideboard is not incredibly tight because, as you mentioned, the main deck is to play against Draven, right? You don't necessarily need a lot of sideboard slots. So from there, it's sideboard slots potentially for Aurelia or for things like Kaisa and Victor and Ornn, these weird decks that you can run into, and you need to have specific tools to deal with. So we'll see if that ends up happening.
Yeah. The one downside is just Kaisa's control is so very specific. If you think about it, even in set 1, there was some use for unyielding. Not there was bullet time coverage against MF. There was Stormbringer, Volibear. There was some other decks like Jinx maybe throwing in some red. And even Annie was playing some damage at a point. They were playing some amount of Void Seekers. Not that you would necessarily bring that in. But in this particular meta, there's not a lot of damage, backline damage. It is Kaisa, and it's really it. Ezreal
Draven has some Falling Stars, right? But you don't want to bring you don't want to bring Unyielding into Draven, right? That's not
right. You might see some singularities from Ezreal, but generally they're doing a combat tricky minusing damage, a -2, -1 repeat Frigid Winds. They do have the Ethereal Shift. I think that's what it's called. Does the 3 damage. So there's that
Arcane
once
Shift.
again. Arcane Shift. You wouldn't necessarily, again, as you mentioned, bring in the Unyieldings for those. So I would expect to see one, and it's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting.
All right. Looks like Randy's trying to solve the puzzle if there's actually anything to do here. This may just be... Did he play Confront on this turn already? I think he did.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So now this is look for the last Rasa. This is Confront into triple Rasa.
This is essentially
Not
our
seen that
bushwhack
Fizz animation
turn
yet.
where we get to take a card for free thanks to Sabo. So this is the interesting part. If 2 to 3 Rasas were to come down here, they would be representing somewhere between 12 and 18 and theoretically 15 or 21 with this Fizz. And as we're slowly eating away on things like smokescreens, singularities, as you mentioned before, these are just tiny units. They don't really have much. You may not expect a Watcher in this meta. And so Randy still definitely has a full hold strategy. The hard part is going to be we're going to have to kind of spread it out through multiple battlefields. Because there is a worry that they could just full stack and say, do you play a main deck on the hunt? Do you have a way to gank? And usually Boots of Swiftness and On the Hunt aren't always in the main deck. They sometimes are as a one-up again.
We know Hunt's in the main for this. We saw it in the first set that he was playing, but yeah, we know he's got the On the Hunt. It looks like he was missing some of the rosters, so he's still looking. I don't know if he found the third one was the exact thing that he just immediately took on that last. There's the On the Hunt actually just getting drawn. So
we have our macro strategy, which is hold these battlefields, let our opponent either have to draw the nuts or overcommit, and potentially full retreat, full swarm, and end the game.
Yeah. Punch first can potentially prevent this game from ending. He didn't find the third Rasa. I think... Is that... Ooh, that is a called shot. I think he's considering if his Rasa is in the next two. He's just going to play it.
The problem is he can only call shot for one correctly, or for non-repeat.
Okay, so he is doing repeating, saying this is better. If he finds the Rasa, it's better than punch first, and there is the Rasa. I mean, exactly.
But he can't take it because he can't play it. He's got no
because
purple.
there's no purple.
Yeah,
no purple. You're right, no purple.
Yeah. You shouldn't have repeated, probably.
Yeah, there was either a non-repeat or maybe they are looking for something like this sabotage. Because again, taking the sabotage that eats the smoke screen and et cetera, will really eat into what this Kaisa can do on their turn, as I assume smoke screen would come here. Maybe piercing light. Can piercing light work well with this setup? Oh yeah, they would be able to double on the right side.
I mean, he must have calced this, right? Is this beating what's currently in hand? Because the Ray is just killing Fizz. The smoke screen is -4, so one of these Ross is a 2, and then there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 mites. It's currently not winning. Hidden card, but that's probably just a fighter flight.
The FOF is going to be... I think we're going for... I think we're on board dead if our opponent thinks it through. But there's a world where our opponent goes for a clear and a hold, and I think Randy's playing to that out with having seen the On the Hunt.
Make him do it. 100%.
Double Ray.
Right. Because at this point, you could double Ray the Rasa on the left side, and then maybe you just full hold there and think, oh, I have this. Yep. And maybe that's the mistake
that's
your
where
opponent
Randy,
can make.
In theory, can actually win the game.
And in top 4, play to the out. In Swiss, maybe, okay, I need to actually get to a game 3, so let's scoop this up and win game 2.
Mm-hmm.
Here, make your opponent do it. We've seen enough times on stream, a small punt can open up the door for a win for the other player.
Yep. So unfortunately for Randy, we did draw extra Dimaggio in the hand, so we are going to see a lot of units probably die pre-combat, which does make the FOF interesting. As again, we all kind of are watching at home thinking, oh, well, they just cast their spells and jam it in, but we see the opponent taking a time to think, what does this FOF do? What math does this change? And this is what, as you were just discussing, is what we're kind of playing for here. I think if we think this through, we can probably win the game on this turn, because these Hex Rays are going to be for 4s on the left side. So you can Hex Ray for 1, throw in, Plundering Poro maybe, then that side's cleared up. Then you can throw in a Watchful Sentry if you want to draw a card off the top. And we will see how this kind of maths out for the Kaisa player, because they technically have 2 draws in them. 4, they can throw the Sentry away for a free draw, and then get a Conquer with essentially a Poro and a Yordle alongside 1 Hex Ray, can get you a draw on the left side. And then the Watcher Suicide on the right side would, unless Randy were to throw his FOF at it, would draw you another card. So I think they're just thinking to their outs.
I don't even think you need anything else.
I don't believe you do.
1 Ray and first unit on. Okay.
I like this one. I like this attack.
I think there's no wrong way to eat this Reese's. If you just put your resources in an efficient way, I think you're going to get there.
Yep. We're either trading up with the Sentry and a Hexray to the Fizz after the FOF assumedly comes in. If it doesn't, then you just eat the Fizz, and now it's double Hexray. You lose your FOF, or you can use it defensively, which increases what we're trying to do this turn. We get our drawback. So let's see.
It gives another draw. Actually, it's a retreat. So if you wanted to retreat a Yordle and replay it, you get another draw.
Right. I assume we're going to see double Hex here. The question becomes we can't technically recycle a blue, but we just use Kaisa. Yeah, we're doing this.
Use Kaisa.
Cool. Smoke screen. Yep. Not sure.
Oh, he's saying he has a reaction window to this, but
yep. Well, now we don't need to play the smoke screen then.
No.
You can play it on the other. You can play it on the other Rasa if you want.
Yeah. Now here it's just Poro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
As we all kind of saw, it was pretty obvious once the player took a while, but this is just, as Blevin said, just something you got to do in the top cut. They might make a mistake. We've seen worse punts throughout the years of hard games. But shockingly, cantrip on cantrips, and they're all attached to sticks. Works pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Kaisa's been doing it since the start of Riftbound.
They make
the cantrip issue has been a thing for
at this diner. They do it the old-fashioned way. And, we're still here.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Yeah.
This case
that is the canonical lecturing Yordle's voice. He's actually, while he's lecturing, he's quite calm.
We would draw cards when we entered the battlefield, as was the style of the time.
It's crazy to think that Kaisa is girl in this case, but nice guy doing it fair, everything by the line, and then you have the heroes.
People didn't like me back in my day,
and then across the way,
I was a bit of a rapscallion.
Everything unfair going on from probably every single one of your opponents. This tournament was probably doing something relatively unfair.
Yeah.
I love how meticulous, just watching Randy's body language, just playing in China 2, just how meticulously he did the obelisk rune, and then
has to. Yeah.
He was like, I am not getting boomed by a judge here. I'm gonna play my game.
Look, when your opponent tries to boom you with a judge, and you go, I can tell you every single card in my deck, and the judge just goes, yeah, that's good. At that point, nothing is shaking you.
We do see the Unyielding Spirit in his hand, so he did sideboard it in.
Yeah, the question is how many, I think, and I'm with Vera. Initially, the answer is 1 is generally what you're thinking, but I don't know exactly the breakdown of his board and what he is teched for. I imagine there's an Ornn plan, I imagine there's a Kaisa plan, and then I'm trying to think what maybe there is a Spell Victor plan. I'm not sure if the main deck is consistently beating it enough that you might need something in the side for it, but yeah. It's probably hard bargains in the side as well, probably some amount of hard bargains.
Bargain, a shovel, and things like this kind of have a lot of overlapping usage against Victor, and a few other decks. The interesting part is Kaisa playing an obelisk. I guess they really took that one from Draven, right? So they could just go turn 1 Kaisa. And it's pretty funny looking at it coming from set 1 where all they had was very aggressive and very degenerate battlefields, Dreaming Tree, Reaver's Row, Arena's Greatest. And they've adopted the I will play my powerless, really good unit on my first turn. Shockingly.
They were living fast and loose in their 20s, and now they're investing in the 401k of just playing your chosen champion on turn 1.
Yeah, maybe 4 mana chosen champions should cost power.
Because of the call shot, Seal is going to be very, very good.
Yeah,
but he has power die?
Yes.
Looks like he has
power die.
2 call shot?
That's a floated power die.
Yep, he's got 2 of them.
We need to get that in the English. I want that.
You need the power die in English?
Yeah, I needed an English. I needed
Is that one not in English?
language power.
I feel like the power symbol is like more like Nordic or something. I don't know if it's an English power symbol. It's very runes.
Look,
on the
I was
wall.
gonna say NA, but I'm not in NA, so I just say English now.
I need them Western style power runes.
I need my Western style rootin' tootin' power die.
All right, so second called. Oh, not even gonna be second called. It's gonna be the Trove. I think. Yeah, still waiting for second call for maybe the next turn. I know he wanted to make a gold this turn. I felt pretty confident we would be playing a way to make a gold, so we'll confront. Still a lot of dig available, and now the first Sabo available.
Yeah, orange cards for days. Probably looking for our second Ezreal here to start bouncing some of our one-offs.
The end of me.
Oh,
Poggers Day?
Poggers!
I mean, Poggers Day is really good.
Look
here.
what they need
because...
Look what they need to mimic a fraction of the power.
No, this is. If I'm Randy, I'm actually not excited about that. That is a problem.
I agree.
That is a big problem.
Day, 0 points and like sabotage does nothing now.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
This is the 0-0 I've been drawing, and my opponent has played the first Aurora on turn 3, except their hand is just gigantic.
Yeah.
Also, not pushing with Kaisa is so smart. Just chilling. No needs for points here. Kaisa has there's no rush here for points.
Nope.
I think that's still okay for Randy, though. The game slowing down is going to allow him to still try and like assemble everything he needs to where he can like permanently recur the deck over and over again with the shovel.
Well, it's more so Kubi's point. Like, you don't need 1 point, and you sure as hell don't need any more cards. So why move in with the Kaisa?
Exactly, yeah.
And I think we're looking for some macro strategy here from Randy. Probably going to start sifting through, potentially getting another Ezreal to dump some of these cards like Confront. Obviously, you can always just play Confront. Like everybody, watching the stream can see that. You generally don't want to tie up your resources playing them. You want one generally to get in your graveyard for the fizz, and maybe you play one just because you have nothing else to do. As we see a lot of kind of like, it's so crazy for me to say expensive cards. We have a lot of expensive cards in our hand, in 2 confronts, 2 challenges, and stuff like that, because they eat away at our runes. We want to use 0s and 1s to keep digging in our deck and using treasure troves for effective gold usage. So you can't just be like, I'll just play 3 confronts and pass. Like, that is probably not getting you where you need to be.
Yeah. And we're starting to see some of the macro ideas for Randy, right? There was the option of Fizz or Rasa. So he could either second cycle the Rasa and wait until later in the game and take the Fizz to pair with his sabotages to at least attempt to start burning through this hand. Because yes, the Progress Day has been cast, but if you cast 3 sabotages, you're working through some of the spells that actually start to really matter and leaving some of the, chaff or things that you don't need to worry about. Or the other option is you grab the Rasa and you start building a real board. And maybe part of the reason that you go for the Rasa is because of the like unyielding spirit in hand, and you can start to play to actually build a board and even defend it.
Yes, which is I do wonder if we just saw the most craziest start of game 1, or if this Kaisa player saw their opportunity and took it, or if they maybe side out some amount of their creatures going into this game. I assume the third one is the least likely of those options, because all we did was play a Kaisa and a Poggers Day and didn't really develop. But I guess it's only turn 2. It's just I've seen such gigantic graveyards and hand size. I assume
so many game actions have been taken.
Yeah, I mean,
I assume we were in the thick of it, but I guess it's only turn 3?
I feel like the fastest I've seen Randy hit cycle is like turn 3. It's probably turn 4. It just feels like turn 3 type of thing, But this deck just gets there. Like it just gets to cycle if you're seeing all the stack decks and all the called shots, and you're finding Ezreal with Heap, and it just gets there.
This is where you draw cards from Progress Day and just put them face down, and when your opponent sabotages, you're like, oh, good, I get to look at them for the first time too.
So a 9-card hand to start breaking. Currently, only 2 of the cards cantrip. So, big win this time around.
I think everything, or whatever Randy takes right here, I mean, granted, this game's going to go forever for the Kaisa player, would give you so much information on what's in their hand. Because, if you're Randy, you actually don't want to take Singularity, and you don't want to take a Kathian Ring, because you have a 1-mana counter to it. The question is, it's a very finite resource if you only play 1. So do you want to delay it until it matters the most? or do you want to keep allowing your opponent to just be sitting on very expensive cards? Watcher, expensive. Rain, Singularity, expensive. Falling Star, Piercing Lights, all very cheap, which, as you see here, I don't want to deal with these in the interim. I'll give you these big expensive spells. You will think you have it. Tap out for it. I got the 1 mana counter. So we're going to try eating at the immediacy plays here.
You say one of until we get late in the game and he starts looping it with shovel and having it every turn, but
that part is very true. That part is very true.
The question is that the type of game we're going to get here? Because that is a thing that you can do in Riftbound. Yep. Is that what is going to happen? That is the harder question.
Based off the Kai'Sa's start in hand, I want to lean towards, if we have our ESPN AI metadata going on, I think we're 80% in that game. That's where the barometer is right now. Because we saw, a Sentry and, essentially the most expensive Sentry in Watcher at this point in the Kai'Sa player's hand. So. And at this point of the game, Sentry and Poro aren't what they are in the first 2 turns, as they will just get eaten alive by Rosses and Ezreals alike. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Kai'Sa gets their points over the next 2 to 3 turns. Is the Kai'Sa player?
Few cards in hand. Did we top deck the Noxus Hopeful?
Yes, we drew a Hopeful and are essentially hand shuffling a sideboard at this point. Trying to figure out which card we want to bring in.
It's actually more than a sideboard in this game. It is, in fact, exactly 1 card more than a sideboard. So.
He's just okay, if I play this card, how can they react?
Yeah.
He's doing that for all 9 cards.
We've casted Gifts and Wish, and we are now looking at our sideboard for a card to bring in.
There's this weird thing, too, where it's even if you do believe that Randy has an Unyielding Spirit right now in his hand, do you still just cast Singularity?
We have how many Roonies? 1, 2, 3, 4,
currently
5, 6,
8.
7, 8. I mean, you
could play a 2-drop and cast Singularity.
Yeah, I think it's
probably
get it out of the way now. You don't see the shovel in play, as you mentioned. Fizz and Unyielding Spirit doesn't particularly work unless you also play Here to Help. So, I mean, if they use it now, they're essentially never going to have it again.
Of course, Randy is still going to play it. You don't just let the Singularity resolve, but he does have more Sabos now, so he can start dealing with the Rain, the follow-up, the stuff that Kai'Sa does have to be able to then follow this Singularity and try and deal with the board. So that's where Randy's going to have to go. He's going to have to go to that good old reliable Sabotage.
Yep, finger guns, baby. Everybody loves the finger guns.
The thing about it is
Unyielding number 2.
Okay, so we do play a second.
Okay,
there you go.
Well, that's insane. We've not. Kai'Sa has not progressed the board at all, or not the turn cycle at all. There's no
math,
points.
Yep.
Turn math is still there. So if Randy can keep taking these trades, card for card trades, and can deal with units in some way, shape, or form, eventually they're going to get to the point where they can recycle their units and redraw them. Whereas Kai'Sa, when they die, they die. So it seems like it's the macro is going in favor of Randy here. At least my gut says that, but I'm also not familiar with this matchup really at all.
This is very interesting. We're going to go for a pseudo development turn here. Go on, Kubi.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
apparently
once again, I think who cut out? Oh, Kuvi's. Oh, did we lose the Jarvis bot after 12 hours or whatever? It happens. Sorry, Kuvi.
Sorry, everything you said was amazing in chat, and they ain't never getting it again. So
Yep.
you got to pay $19.99, 3 installments to get whatever was just said.
To get Kuvi. Yeah, no, sorry everybody, but we'll get that fixed and we'll get Kuvi back straight away.
Jarvis, get Kuvi back online, please. Thank you.
I was gonna note here is you notice just from the body language of the Kaisa casting the Cathian Rain and then just seeing the second unyielding, it's just like, okay, like that is just part of this game. That is fine. Yep. That is not an unexpected outcome, especially because, you know, you didn't see another sabotage hit the board. You didn't see any of this other stuff. It's like, if he has it, he has it, because the game is not progressing where I lose by casting this Rain and getting it unyielding. However, this hand is down to 6 cards, down from 9. It is slowly being worked through by Randy with these sabotages. He's got the fizzes still that he can recur and continue to come through and play more sabotages. He takes the card that can cantrip, because he doesn't want there to be even more cards coming through by taking this. So it's slowly happening, right? It's down to 5 cards, but there's still, you know, Kaisa Survivor on the board. She's going to be able to look for a conquer, right? There's still a lot more game that can happen here, and I think maybe something like a challenge to get rid of Survivor would be really nice to have, and I think there is one in hand available.
Yes. We've been sitting on challenges since turn 1 at this point. And I do think it's interesting here as we talk from Randy's perspective of nothing's really going on. The Kaisa player seems very just, I'm going to cast these things and make my 1 unit, because it's realistically all I can do anyway. And he's like, oh yeah, Unyielding Spirit, no big deal. It's like, I have to get through these. I have to deal with it. Ultimately, my turn was, I could have played a Poro and a Sentry. Instead, I played a Poro. Ultimately, the opportunity cost was very little. You just make your opponent have it. And unfortunately for them, they had it, but I think they're still pretty calm and collective, because as much as the Kaisa isn't building the board, in the current state, Randy isn't doing too much either, though we know, 5-6 turns from now, there'll be 18 power on the board.
Also, we've got some breaking news from the chat. Unofficially confirmed, but I think it's pretty reliable here. Draven not in the finals.
Yep, Draven out, which means Ezreal final against the winner of this matchup. It looks like there is just a dispute of just the Kaisa player not understanding how the buff comes through onto the Sivir, but it looks like that's all resolved now. Sabotage was played this turn, and then the challenge. So that is 2 power costs played on the turn, which gives the +2 in the ganking to the Sivir. That's where the challenge was able to make quick work of the Kaisa, which is going to be able to deny some future card draws. So as we can see, the strategy for this matchup for Randy is to shred the hand, and we see a quick take of Fizz, which is very likely to be for an answer to more of the hand, as we do have the Ruin Runner as them in late end game insurance. Doesn't feel like he needs it right now with him knowing the hand. But there's some end game insurance.
Tip for chat, since people love to put cards in their sideboard. When you're in the matchup, you want the card, and you stare at it, and you put it to the bottom, just take it out of your sideboard. Don't worry about it. No, Camel is a good card. Camel is a good card, but I always just find it funny when we take every other card over it. Granted, it was Rasa for what it's worth.
I always remember a story from an old MTG story with Michael Jacob and Cedric Phillips, where they brought in a bunch of kitchen finks against like mono red or something. It just ended up not being good. They lose in the finals of a PTQ, and Cedric Phillips' friend Michael Jacobs comes up and just says, after they had lost this grueling finals, just goes, "Nice kitchen finks, idiot," and then lost. It's like, oh, you boarded in this card, it didn't even matter.
Yep.
The classic.
Okay, Randy just getting a quick check on the runes. Going up to 9 runes for Kaisa on the next turn.
Yeah, it looks like the best cards from our opponent, or the best cards in our opponent's hand for the rest of this game, are going to be at the top of the deck, because that is our only protection we're going to have from these sabotages, because we are built a board state where we lose to very few things. Fortunately for the Kaisa player, one of those things can theoretically be Watcher, which cannot be saboed, notably, but can be Mind Splittered if we were to play those. And it's just going to be building a board that can threaten that. Right now, a Watcher will just kind of get foffed, and you'd maybe trade with a unit, and you wouldn't really get very far.
All right, so going to use this Merchant to cycle on this turn because the Confront has it enter ready, wanting to bring it home. Hidden Fight or Flight is going to be able to protect Sivir from the piercing lights that he knows are in hand can't use the Sivir. You can use the Sivir to hit backline, right? But you can't kill the Sivir with that because the fight or flight will bring the Sivir home.
Mm-hmm.
Now Randy's going to start counting zones, so he knows how close he is to the stack.
2 piercing lights. What could we do with that if we were to repeat both of them? You could do like 4 to a battlefield, 4 to the back line. Do that twice. You have to be careful about getting foffed and how that messes with the units having to be at different locations.
So you would do
interesting puzzle here.
You would do 4 to Rasa, and then send those extra 4 towards the Sivir. Because then she can't actually be protected by the fight or flight.
Sure. Right. She's at a different location.
And then you can, I believe, still target 4 more into the Rasa and then kill Ezreal. And I think that's like the most you can kill.
Do we have 9 or 10 runes? What are we at here? Because we're going for a baby
It's
watcher.
9. It should be 9. Yeah.
So we can do a singular piercing light. Does that change the math at all? Does it make it easier for us? Because now we ping the Rasa once, choose the Sivir. Doesn't matter. We'll just die because it'll have negative. We'll be at -1. And then the Rasa is going to be at 4.
Can kill Ezreal. It's not that great, I don't think.
Right. It's going to be a kill a Sivir, kill an Ezreal, do 2 damage to the Rasa, and then be able to trade with the Poro, which I think is my math correct? Right? Because there'll be 3.
Does it even?
Right.
You can't kill Sivir here unless you're.
No, I don't think so.
Because this can't be repeated, right? It's just going to be a single cast.
Just 1. Is it just kill Ezreal?
It'll be 2 and 2. Just Ezreal.
If we started with Rasa and then...
Yeah, why don't we shoot the Rasa, man? If you wanted to kill the Sivir. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, you could shoot Rasa and Sivir and not kill Ezreal, right? You can kill Sivir or Ezreal. And I mean, I agree. You probably kill the Sivir instead of the Ezreal, right? That's probably a little bit better.
I think at this point, our Ezreal's done everything it's going to do, and it's really kind of irrelevant with 2 gold and 2 seals. And I think the more important part is we now get to trade a Poro up into a Rasa. Instead, we're trading a Noxious Hopeful, and that Noxious Hopeful trades up a lot better. It's little things like a few Stupefies, 1 Hexray, and all of a sudden you're trading 7 on 6, things like that.
Hopeful won't have to trade at least, right? Because it's 4 into 3.
Yes, it won't. Yeah, it won't.
Yeah.
It's just that we're now put our Hopeful kind of like in...
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see. Yeah,
right, we put our Hopeful like in danger
Understood.
way. We could have just had like a Poro kind of do it and just moved on because it'll be interesting to see because now it's just going to get eaten up by the Rasa in the back line, and then our Poro in future turns again is asking for a lot from us, whereas we could have got the more immediate value from it now.
All right. I mean, this is absolutely a shovel macro game, and we'll see where Randy's shovel is. He's low on cards, but he must be getting close to that second cycle. Yep. And the question is where are the rest of the Ezreals as well, right? Because we've only seen the 1 played so far, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep. So a lot more draws to be had.
I just wonder if there was a line of I can't remember. I know there's a Hexray. I just wonder if there's lines of repeating like a few of these piercing lights with Hexray and almost clearing like the whole board, but really get the chance to map it out there.
Fizz bargain. You kind of want to draw with the Fizz, but you can definitely start with the Trove to look first. Because the Fizz still may want to be a Sabo. You may want to continue shredding the hand, but currently low on cards. So we're going to just see the Trove get yeeted away for the Merchant to draw. Keep Randy on point tempo. Now he can actually start to pressure points, though, going to 4 on this turn.
I mean, the upside for us on the Kai'Sa's side is while we will lose our Hopeful immediately, we are asking Randy to put one of his more precious units in the Rasa to kill it. And then that will get eaten very quickly by the Watcher. You could also push the Sivir up, which is a pretty valuable unit as well. And Randy's only outs to this Watcher are really just punch firsts, like very timely punch firsts. Because other than that, we're like 7 on 6, 7 on 4. It's all going to kind of be the same. So punch first is going to decide how long this Watcher lives, I believe. And I wonder if this is what he's contemplating here with which unit he goes in with.
New gold for Randy.
More gold for the Goldman.
Yeah, I wonder what's in the hand. Because we could have lined it up to where we paid 2 power this turn to have the Sivir trade up and then, die all the same to the Watcher. But instead we've had to put our roster in danger now. And I wonder, is there just not power cards we can cast in our hand, or we just don't want to?
There is that fight or flight, which is probably just saving like either thing that stays there, whether it's pushing pushing the Watcher or
the Sivir, yeah.
Or just pushing your unit home, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it is going to be the called shot. I think, you need to refill. As much as the Sabo is fun, I think you'd rather have 2 cards than have 1 less. And there's going to be another Rasa. Punch first, Ezreal at the bottom. And Ezreal is perfect. That's just going to keep giving you the refill.
Yeah. We are getting to the point, though, where when can we cast this Ezreal? Because we kind of want every card in our hand at this point. So it's getting a little interesting there. I think that's what he's considering right now is, what am I drawing in the next few turns that's, expendable? Is there a scrap heap coming up maybe that I bottom from a stack deck? Otherwise,
I know 1 did go bottom, maybe even 2. So I know they are on their way, but I'm not sure exactly where. I mean, Randy does, so that's the thing.
Right. I'd expect to see a Rasa this turn and maybe just hold up Faf, unless that's a scrap heap, and hold up Bargain. I think we most likely will see the Ezreal deployed at a later turn. It'll be an interesting decision point to just go Rasa 1, hold up 2, can be Faf, could be Hard Bargain. Hard Bargain, shockingly good when your Kai'Sa's best spells in this moment are 7-6 mana roughly.
Mm-hmm.
That is the tough thing, though, is Kai'Sa will be at 9 mana. So Hard Bargain, because it's not repeatable with the Ezreal not on the board, will actually be able to be beaten with a top deck Rain. In this moment, there is vulnerability from the side of Randy.
We still have 1 Piercing Light. Yeah, 1 Piercing Light that we know about, a Hex Tech or Hex Ray we know about, random card.
It's a Poro.
That looks like Pouty Poro.
Yeah.
Pouty Poro off the top.
So, and I think there should be 2 random cards in the Kai'Sa player's hand that Randy doesn't know about, I believe, because they've had 2 draw steps since the last Sabo, this being the second one. And I don't believe, and we just played Piercing Light Watcher, which were always there. So.
Can we talk about how sweet that jacket is? Like, I want that jacket.
It's a very nice jacket.
I like the jacket, but it reminds me of those captchas where they hide something in black and white. And they're like, what is popping out of this? Is this a Q, a T? And then I write T, and they're like, actually, we're looking for uppercase T. You're banned and can't get into the Riftbound Regional.
You're banned.
Might be one of those T-shirts where if you squint, it says something.
Right. One of those.
Yes, it's a picture, not picture in picture, hidden magic art.
So we're calling them on no punch first, which is interesting. Let's see how this goes on.
Do you push the Fox or do you push the Rasa at this point? I feel like it probably just ends up being the Rasa, right? You're just keeping your material. You don't want to risk it at all.
Yes, I would self-push here.
Point doesn't matter.
Most times I would self-push here.
Yeah.
Your opponent's paying a power for it.
Yeah.
And they don't even draw a card. That's crazy.
Yeah,
it's so weird when this deck wins a combat, it doesn't draw a card.
Yeah,
Red deck
it usually feels so bad. Ugh.
And Piercing Light is explicitly battlefields, right? So we can't double target backlines or anything. It's battlefield.
Have to
there,
battlefield. Right? One has to be battlefield, and the other can be anywhere.
Yep. So we're insulated around that, other than this little merchant. But we're obviously not going to repeat on a merchant twice. I don't even legally think we could, but I'm about to find out.
I think you can. I think because you pick targets when you cast it, so I don't actually see.
So they don't resolve.
Yeah, I don't really see a reason you can't repeat it to then kill the Sivir.
Makes sense. Yep.
Cool. Okay. So that's something.
It's not a lot though.
So the thing that this opens up, though,
very good.
This opens up other shovel lines, though, where you can conquer with the shovel, and then you have the accelerated unit out of the bin. So.
Very surprised to not see the sentry be deployed to the battlefield. We're kind of just giving up our Poro for free because, there's interesting lines here because we're holding a retreat and we're obviously looking to redeploy this Watcher, so it's probably why we're building a backline, so I can understand this. But maybe Randy doesn't even go without the punch first. There's not amazing trades for him.
I think he just drew a punch first, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what he found.
Amazing lines.
Yeah.
but there currently now is, because now we just eat it 1-1, and we're going to trade a punch first or a retreat, which we're not exactly going to go home crying about. We're going to get to 6 points relatively easily while still holding a Rasa in the back line. The question here for Randy is, do you go right or left first, depending on how you're mapping out your turn?
There is going to be an argument to hard bargain the retreat for the Watcher. There is going to be an argument for it.
Yeah.
That is going to blow out probably the whole turn, I think.
Because you do have to slightly worry about like rain off the top. There are some of these things that can happen that start to hurt your board. But dealing with this Watcher, not allowing that to be in hand, is going to be massive for Randy.
Yep. Yeah, the only downside would be going right first, overcommitting, and then having the retreat come. But knowing that you have the hard bargain in hand, that's kind of safe no matter which direction you go. Going to play retreat. Opponent's going to say no.
Yeah, I expected him to snap it off.
Yeah.
It feels too good to let this go. One card in hand. You're not playing around the top of the deck. You play around the cards that are there. You know that becomes a Watcher. The Watcher is actually annoying for you on the next turn. So,
yep. At this point, barring another unyielding spirit, which I do not believe we have, unless we deploy the Ezreal here, our board is wiped to an Acathian Rain, and if we don't draw an Acathian Rain, we will extend the hand. And that is kind of what I can imagine to be the next few turns.
yeah. Just absolutely surgical from Randy, right? Like, this is exactly what this deck wants to be doing. This is every single thing we kind of expected to happen.
Yep. The good news is we have 2 draw steps for the Kaisa. They can double trade into the Fizz, draw an extra card, wipe 2 Rasas, let our opponent go to 7, and say you need some type of acceleration to close out the game, and maybe be able to come back from that position. It's a Time Warp.
Time Warp.
Which...
We're short. 9 runes.
Oh, I was going to say, even if they weren't, that's an expensive Explorer.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think he knows now that he has to lead into the right side, or to the left side, from his perspective, and just trade 3-on-3, and then gets one more draw step. Obviously not pretty, but it's a way out.
I mean, I've seen a Poro and a Sentry take on a Rasa before. I can see the outcome being.
Oh, they're not taking on a Rasa. They're just taking on a tiny little fish demon thing.
Little fish
going for the Rasa.
You can with the hex ray. You definitely could. You would then pass the turn and probably lose. But if you want the moral victory of sending the demons back to where they came from,
the watery depths.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he looked at his trash and I was like, oh, yeah, that's just his hand.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, when did his hand get so big? And I'm like, okay,
no. This time around, he has 1 card in hand. Well, 2. The Warp is the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, please go on the Poro. Oh, never mind.
He's drawing.
Oh, he found another Poro.
Another Poro.
Doesn't matter anyway.
It's
reassuring.
Yeah. It's just like if you find
no difference.
If you find the Acathian Rain there, you just still actually lose now because you just left the Fizz on the board.
With extra steps.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Okay,
save
we're
me.
back into the match.
Get me.
This is like, please,
out of this, please.
Randy, start the match.
Please. All right,
Yes.
we've got Obelisk for Randy, and we've got a Reaver's Row for the Kaisa side of things. And we'll see if there's any adaptations from Kaisa for this game, right? I mean, really, if we don't see any rains or singularities or something like that found, that is certainly one thing that could have been made, but I'm kind of with you, Vero, and I don't really think that stuff needs to get sided out. The way we saw that game go, you are kind of just supposed to fight through it. And if he's able to find... He had 1 turn where if he finds second rain in that moment, it actually might just win him the game. So there is just the opportunity that these cards can bail you out. And there's also the opportunity that, look, Randy could have the unyieldings in the bottom 10 of his deck, and you just don't quite get to them in time. Generally, he's going to find them, but you got to kind of play towards the out. So
in this meta, how many Acathian Rains are you actually playing? It's also just like, you might not need to side it out because it's just your 39th card in the deck. I'd be surprised if they're playing 2 in the main deck. I know it is a control variant list, but there's not many decks that it blows out. This can sometimes be one of them. So I'm actually wondering how many they'd have in the list. Usually you'd see like 2 minimum, usually 3. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just one in the whole, 56 cards. But I'd imagine there's two. But it wouldn't surprise me if we over-index on Singularity, because it just lines up much better.
Yeah. And we saw the start of the first game for Kai'Sa just flooding a bunch of twos, being very effective and helped, get the early points. Don't give the Sivir a lot of time to just assemble everything that she wants, know the stack, be able to just dig to the exact cards that she needs for every single spot. And, this time there is at least a Poro to kick things off for Kai'Sa, and we'll see if there's any more follow-up there. But for Randy, it's Stack Deck plus Treasure Trove as the cards on offer for the early game.
Yes, as we're going to take our time to draw, as Stack Deck finds second Stack Deck, which finds third Called Shot.
Yeah.
I think that's the exact same three cards he just saw. It was Called Shot, Stack Deck, and a challenge, and he put a challenge and I think a Call Shot to the bottom.
Yeah. Well, and you can see he's not very happy about it. That's not very good.
It's not phenomenal. You don't want these cards all at once. You want them nicely, layered.
Yeah.
You draws
Double Called
from
Shot in the
each.
bottom is really bad.
Yeah. You want these cards to be separated out. See 2 cards I want, 1 card I don't. Take the card I want, 2 I don't. Oh, my next card's Stack Deck. And that's how you get 27 cards deep on turn 3.
Yeah. And the thing with these digs going to the bottom is once he hits this stack, everything else he started putting in the bottom, he can just find immediately. He knows that he can just find every single piece that he's been able to put at the bottom. But now getting to that point is going to take a little bit more time, as we actually saw the challenge taken, and it was stacked, called, put to the bottom. So going to take a little bit more time to get there.
Yeah, we're maybe going to try to play a mid-rangey-ish game with this challenges in the next few turns, kind of trying to emulate what we saw in game 1, where Randy almost brought it back, realizing that, as we've all pointed out, because we're all so smart, you can't draw these cards together, or at least not see them on the stack deck, because then your deck's going to be slow. As we're going to see.
I mean, Kai'Sa also only has Spora as a unit, really. I mean, this is accelerated Kai'Sa here on reverse, obviously, but only 2 units. So if you lose these 2 units, Kai'Sa actually
not accelerated, which I don't know,
well,
man.
What does that tell you if you're Randy?
He has retreat.
He has retreat and he's playing around challenge, which is respectable. Yeah.
That's the only line it could possibly be, right?
No, that's fair.
Right. There's also a macro sense if there's just no point.
There's no retreat then.
Didn't have the retreat.
No
retreat. Hold up.
Unsure.
He could have been bluffing it, and Randy just said, "I don't care."
Oh, that's fair.
Randy said, "Just show it to me." Right.
When you're this far behind, I mean, theoretically behind, based off what we both know players' macro strategies to be. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think is we have a very heavy hand. We have 2 Acathian Reigns, a Singularity, a Watcher, a Time Warp, and we're just worried about losing that 1 rune. But we gave up essentially a whole turn of this game by not being at 2, and then a card draw. Now, that being said, if this Kai'Sa were to die, we would have only been at 3. So theoretically, nothing's changed, but very interesting. But we're going to see the whole hand get played out here, so maybe none of this will matter.
Yeah. And as you said, I think the thing is this: Randy knows he's behind, right? The other side, Kai'Sa player does not know that Randy is behind at this point. He doesn't know that that's how this game is going. But Randy knows he's behind, so he takes the risk. And now it has to be how can you shred this hand? Because the Yordle, the most threatening card in the Kai'Sa's deck, this Lecturing Yordle, has now been deployed, and that is generating so much value for the Kai'Sa that's going to cause a lot of problems.
If we go back to Kuvi's line from before, was it you have to be ballsy on turn 2? What was his phrasing? Kuvi was saying that you had to do
What do you mean?
Stupefy?
No, there was just no. If you didn't have retreat, there's no bluffing really. The bluff is not. It has to have a purpose, and you have to be in a spot where you can actually bluff, and you have to understand that the opponent will respect the bluff or not. And if the opponent cannot respect the bluff, then the bluff doesn't work.
Yeah, quickly here.
I am uncertain on this sequencing. This sequencing was very ungreat from the Kai'Sa player.
This brought Randy back into this game quite a bit because he just ate 2 cards for hard bargain. He 2 for 1 with the hard bargain, but denied the draw that was going to come from the Stupefy. So he stopped so much from happening, and now he gets to go ahead and start this sabotage train. There's one, and he does have Fizz in hand. He can do a second one on this turn if there's another card that he liked that he wanted to get rid of. That may just be the play.
The interesting part here is it was very bad sequencing, but I also don't think it matters, because if my opponent on 2 cards like just casts the Stupefy, you may just hard bargain that right there too, depending. Yeah. So there's a world where Randy plays around it regardless, but I do agree it was probably suboptimal.
Right, but then you have a
hex ray in your hand. At least.
Yes,
I agree. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All this to say that I do not think that Sivir was ever going to die this turn, regardless. But yeah, we are just neg 2 cards as opposed to down 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I'm wondering if it is Sabo. You still have Sivir. Decides to go against it, because I'm trying to remember the 2 cards. I think it was Falling Star, Singularity. So I guess the Fizz is quite bad here, because both of those cards kill Fizz Sivir. Well, only the Singularity kills Fizz Sivir. So you could kind of go for it in the spot, but he doesn't have to play it that fast. He can go slower.
Effectively does, because we're going to trade in one of our just miscellaneous units.
Yeah, it's Reavers though, so she just runs home. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm unsure why we went for the treasure chest. Not that it was bad or anything. I just think there's a reasoning of we don't want to play.
They didn't ramp from the treasure. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Did you not? Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
He paid 1, made a gold, and then ramped.
I don't think he ramped. I think he drew. Yeah,
maybe
a card.
not. Maybe he did. Look, I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying.
No, last turn they were on 6.
I thought the runes looked right.
They were on 6 last turn. Went down to 5 from playing challenge, and now went up to 7. So now we still just have 7. So I think everything's normal.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because he spent a gold last turn, right? He spent a gold. Yeah, he spent a gold last turn. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So here again, an interesting one. Coming back to that Kaisa play, if we were at 3 right now, we could just send in a very dirtily unit on the right side, get our 4th point, try to deal with this Sivir and Frog outside of combat. You know, we could just double Falling Star this Sivir and have got our 4th point and keep our units in the back. Now we have to make a decision on, do we really want to cast a 6-mana Singularity to clear both units? Do we want to cast a Falling Star just really to clear 1 unit? Because, as you mentioned before, they're going to Reaver's Row right back. So, and a Watchful Sentry drawn for the turn.
Right. Long tank from the Kaisa. Not a lot of cards left, right? This was Singularity, Falling Star.
Yep.
A healthy board, but once you start conquering, Sivir can start eating everything up.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is the time to get your big spells in, right? There's no unyielding resource up, so.
Yep. We are just killing them both, as you mentioned, for close to little costs. We're going to get 2 points, go up to 4, beyond a 2-turn clock. Yep, and get 2 gold, which will help our macro strategies as well, because if we're just planning to cast expensive things. And we did see the hard bargain cast. You, again, only assume that one of those is played. We got a pseudo Yordle being made in the back line with the Sentry, who will eventually crash in, most likely. Interesting point there. Randy can try to keep combat on the Reaver's Row for the next few turns to continually deny the Sentry running in for a free draw. Not that it's the least of his worries at this board state, but little things that add up.
Yeah, he needs a confront in this spot, but doesn't have it.
I don't think we've seen one this game either.
Not. I don't even think is our graveyard even like that big? Like, I'm sure we can cast Arasa, but I know we have an Ezreal in here. But is our graveyard even that big right now?
It's not massive, and Fizz is actually going to reduce it.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to see
sabotage.
Okay, it's about 7 cards, it looks like, so enough to like obviously fully discount Rasa, so that's good enough.
Yeah, he's going to go -1 here. I was wondering if he's just considering stacked, but it is sabotage. He's going to take the last card. He knows it's Falling Star.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Feels like this wants to be like Fizz Ezreal if he has the Ezreal in hand. Kubi, you were saying he does not have Ezreal though, right?
I didn't see Ezreal. I think if there was an Ezreal, we should have.
Maybe it was a card they picked up and then have since put it to the bottom off like a stack deck. Because I swore I thought there was an Ezreal in hand too, but maybe it was just something we saw for stack deck and had to choose something else. Unsure at the time.
Yeah.
Gonna be an equip as well of the shovel.
The equip is
Bargain stacked.
Stack deck, hard bargain.
Yeah, okay.
What are the other 2 cards in Sivir hand?
Unsure. I think it's
okay.
On the hunt.
On the hunt.
This makes sense
okay.
then. So this actually lets him clear both sides.
Yep.
Because he won't be able to like actually kill the other Bora, of course, because it can retreat, but he could trade.
He'll get his
He
third
can play
point.
this out.
Yeah. Yep, we could play this frog.
Oh, sorry. On the hunt does not work that way. Yeah, that's not confronted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It got us to a point tempo and got us a free unit, which will try to help us dig.
Yeah.
Shockingly, the Sivir has less cards, or about equal cards as the Kaisa, which you would not expect. But the good news is the frog will work very well, the traveling merchant, that is.
Yep.
Will be able to go in and out and potentially have an empty hand on the trigger. So there's some upside there.
This game comes down to top decks. We have to see what comes off the top of the deck. Stupefy is not bad. It's pretty good in a spot considering you're trying to push through the Fizz.
Yeah.
It's going to cantrip. It's going to draw you something else. It doesn't quite push over Fizz. Fizz is 5. There's only 3 might available for Kaisa.
Yep.
So you need to find a little bit more.
The good news is Stupefy lasts through the turn, even if combat's reset, which is nice. Because the sentry draws you see there, you can kind of suicide the sentry in if you want another draw.
Yeah.
Well,
because on board right now we cannot kill this Fizz, but we can trade in a sentry. The -1 will still persist. And then drawing something like a Falling Star would essentially kill the Fizz and the Frog for the cost of the Yordle. We wouldn't get our 6 point though. So that would be
I think you might have to dig to see if you can find something here. Piercing Light repeated gets through and lets you go to 6. And I'm just can you afford to slow down? I don't know that you can.
Yeah.
I think slowing down here is going to just mean that Randy is going to probably win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, there is another unit to cast. Yeah, like letting the shovel live is rough. I mean, of course, they would be able to, assuming you don't kill the backline and only are able to kill the Fizz, they would be able to re-equip, get in and score. Again, we just need our 4th point this turn. So these sentries are actually not drawing for 2 turns. Because we are going to get our 3rd point, move in for our 4th point. You can move in with a sentry, I Reavers out. You get your 6th point, but you're not drawing. The good news of this is that we are ahead on turn cycles. So we're most likely going to get our 6th point next turn and then leave everything in the back. And then we are insulated in a way from any sabotages that will come because our hand will be close to nothing and our draw is actually on the board in the form of the sentries.
Rasa into the bin means it can be played off of the shovel. So essentially drawing a card in this spot as long as there doesn't have to be a re-equip of the shovel.
Yes.
And shovel is on hold and conquer, correct?
Yeah, today I learned you get it on hold as well.
Yes, you get on hold and conquer.
It is specifically in the beginning phase, though. So after you awaken, but before you channel.
Generally, you will never get 2 triggers unless you are doing re-equipping shenanigans or ganking.
Yeah.
You will then hold and back, or, you know, something like On the Hunt could obviously do that. Did
Don't
not see the peel off the top.
Correct.
He gave a facial reaction that he was somewhat probably unhappy with it.
Oh, it certainly isn't winning him the game right now, or else I think we would be seeing it.
Yep. The only thing that could win us the game right now would be a time warp.
Correct.
That would end
time
the
warp
game.
Would be
but Hard Bargain is available. Is this 12 runes, though? 12 runes.
This is 12 runes.
Hard Bargain is covered.
Okay, I like this to get to 6. Once again, it's an interesting world where you play the Gambit and you throw the Sentry in. You can no longer now do it because you've kind of put egg on your face by moving in the right side. But you could just throw a Sentry in and be like, hey, do you want a Reavers? And then draw the card. Yeah. But now you've kind of given off that with your very lackadaisical move into the right side that Randy would most likely not.
With the foiling of the card, we can see it bending. Oh,
okay.
Just a...
I think that was a very... Why was he so sad? I think that was like a phenomenal draw.
Yeah, now we have to...
Yeah, I'm curious again why we... This is interesting. I kind of like this, but I'm kind of curious on it. We opted to make a gold over potentially drawing a card. Now I wonder if this is a consideration for sabotage or what.
I am confused why we didn't push this sentry to a battlefield, because they're gonna have to take both, right?
Right, but this
stop you from winning
it plays into sabotage though, is the problem. You lose your backline, your top decks of Time Warp and Watcher are like no longer live really. And then the problem is if they kill your sentries, let you draw a card or two, and then sabotage fizz you, do some kind of funny stuff. So there is a reason, because like your Poro is not dying. It's just going to get backed up on Reavers. Your Sentry, the first one, is definitely dying. But I like having the draw on your turn because you're on 12 runes, because you force Randy to have to kill both battlefields and defend them because you are just live to a top deck. Because right now we're going to have 5 in the back line. So if we throw 5 into Sivir and it just dies, we cast Time Warp and we win. So I think they're just keeping their odds open here by pushing in with that. Granted, of course, you could Reaver all these things all the same, but that's my only thought.
I had the fight or flight. Does he cast the Ezreal first? It's Rasa Ezreal is the hand. He's trying to get to open hand Ezreal. So there's the Rasa. I'm not sure how many it costs. 3. Okay, so it's going to cost 3. 7 in the bin. And then he has one more Rasa to play from the bin via the Fizz. But that will be expensive. If he plays the Ezreal now, he can't quite afford it because it costs 4 because it doesn't count itself, right? When it's pulled from the bin.
Right. Yeah, this most likely we will be seeing a frog or something else being resummoned, assuming that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Unless we go all in on the Rasa, it would pretty much cost our turn, I think, right? Or do we have how much?
Oh, does it cost 3? Does it see itself?
It should see itself, I would think.
I have no clue on that one.
Okay.
Is there a reason to have it backlined?
I'm sure on that one. So 5.
Yeah, I guess there's not a big reason it wouldn't see itself, right? Because
doesn't it still cost 1 more, or am I crazy? How many do you have untapped?
No, it should cost. He already recycled the rune, right?
Yeah, the rune got recycled.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what it looked like, right? I think this should cost 4, not 3.
Yeah.
Well, so there's 7 in the bin,
Apparently
so
it
it depends
doesn't
on
see
if it
itself.
counts itself, right? And it should. It doesn't see itself, is what I'm saying, but
yeah, apparently.
I don't know why it wouldn't see itself.
Because it goes to the chain, and then like as a cost reduction event, like you have to cast it and put it on the chain, and then like kind of like pay the cost reduction would be my understanding of the rules. But I don't.
Oh, there might be an errata on shovel as well, where it's like a banish the card and then play something.
Oh, you're right.
See if it's on the errata
definitely
list.
right.
See if it's on the errata list.
Probably is.
Yeah. That would be my assumption based off my understanding of other games, but Riftbound remakes the rules every week.
Yeah.
What's the shovel? What's the shovel called again? It's not
Last
called shovel.
rates. Last rates.
Yeah.
Yep. I just think you put the card on the chain, and then the reductions come into play. Would be my understanding of the rules. So it should be 4.
Okay.
That was my.
I guess, but like, what what if you can't actually pay for it? Then are you not able to put it on the chain then, or does it go back to the like? That's the weird question that I.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what if you didn't have 4 here?
Yeah, I think to my understanding, this isn't because it's a unit. I think it's because it's from Last Rites. But I can be like, I think this is a very particular Last Rites thing. Obviously, a normal unit when you cast from your hand doesn't go on the chain. Like that's not a thing that exists in this game.
Right.
Augur's Day in hand, by the way.
Augur's Day is certainly a draw at 12 runes. That is going to give you a plethora of options, but notably, Watcher is not one of those options that you can
Watcher
play.
out, Rain out, right? Or is Rain is 7?
Rain is 7.
Yeah, so Rain out.
Singularity, but Singularity actually doesn't get there here.
So what are we
There's
looking
too
at
much
on the
might
board?
on the board.
Is
There's
what's on the
4.
left?
So there's 4 and 6 on one side, Sivir and Rasa, with the fight or flight hidden. And on the other side, there's Fizz with the shovel, so 5, and then 6 with Rasa. So Singularity would kill both Rasas, but there's only 5 might in play for the Kaisa. So even Singularity isn't getting there. It's what you want is maybe a mixture of some of the smaller spells potentially, but even then, I mean, like double Falling Star plus Void Seeker is too expensive. Triple fall. I mean, it's not that. We know that some have been put.
We know there's one on the bottom. Yeah.
So
double Falling Star would kill 2 Rasas. That's not close.
Again, we do not need to break this board. We just need to break one side because we've seen an on the hunt played, and unless a second fizz comes off the top, we like it is not. I'm confused.
Wait,
here.
what?
I'm confused. What happened here? I don't understand what they're talking about. I'm unsure what's going on.
They're making him play it at base.
I think what's happened is he played it at base, tapped 3 runes when he thought he was going to be able to play the Ezreal. And then because he played it to a position and just miscounted his mana, they're now saying you've made a decision, you just didn't tap the appropriate amount of runes, and now it has to stay there. That's my best guess of my sign language Mandarin that I know.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, that seems to be the case, right? Like, that is like...
Yes.
For what it's worth, it did look like he put it in base the first time.
The first time, yes. Originally, he thought he was most likely going to be able to play an Ezreal, which I assume would have went to the battlefield. And because it was, as you pointed out, you said, is there a reason we're playing this to base? And then we got to the conversation. So, if you live by the letter of the law, that like does make sense. You did play it there. You just miscounted your mana. I don't know Riftbound. I don't know Riftbound's rules on rollback. I'd allow them to replay
but I'm
it.
also like, usually it's like if something changes, like that changes the outcome. Like the same reason that like if the information changed and it was in your favor, they'd go, no. Like that's
you're fishing
infraction.
For information. Right.
This looks like he's looking up the rules right now.
Yeah, I mean they're appealing to some.
I mean, maybe Randy appealed,
power.
right? He was like, "Hey, like that doesn't."
Jarvis,
seem right.
can you get Dave on? Can you get Dave on the line?
Yeah, call Dave. Hey, Jarvis, call Dave.
Yeah, they're appealing to some greater power at the moment. That we can kind of see they're either talking to production in their ear or a head judge somewhere else while looking on a phone. So,
wait, hasn't Kaisa drawn a card at this point too? Like they've
that's what
they've fully gone.
Yeah,
adjusting the game after the game state, like after the turn has passed.
Yeah,
unsure.
I don't know. Well, and I want to like get rid of my bias for Randy as well in this moment, right? Like I don't want to be, because of course I'm rooting for Randy. You know, that's like literally a teammate of mine. We prepped together a lot for Bologna and everything. Like prep for him.
Yeah,
to
classic
go out and do this,
U.S. player Randy.
Yep.
Yeah, classic.
Hey,
US
the same
player,
three colors. The same three colors there, baby. These colors don't run. These colors don't run, brother.
I'm trying to think if there's like a world where no, this is like correct, but I think if this wasn't already on the Kaisa turn and the draw had happened and all that, like. Maybe there's a world that this is supposed to be how it is, right? Like it did look like he played it at base, like before like, they changed the runes situation, right?
Yeah,
right. So,
and I can say based off everything I watched in the last 2 weeks, it is incredibly harsh, but incredibly consistent.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
They have done this for a bunch of things that I personally do not agree with. I am a very, for the most part, if no new information was revealed. I don't try to get people on dexterity. None of these things. The game I come from, flesh and blood. We don't. Yeah. Generally, this doesn't happen. I would let somebody like take that back because they're like, oh, they miscounted their mana. It's fine. But based off the last 2 or 3 weeks of like what I've seen from the Chinese, and I didn't watch too much of Set 1 tournaments. These is kind of just how it is, right, wrong, or indifferent. They've consistently ruled it this way. Whether you agree with that, well, that's another story.
I also think that this is a little bit of a different scenario, or it's a unique scenario in that they made a play based on thinking that they were going to have an additional 3 energy there, and then the judges were like, no, actually, and then they did the whole rules thing where we figured out that actually no, Rasa costs 4. Okay, that is new information, and I would be in the camp of, okay, new information has been presented. Everyone except for the judges were like, okay, no, this is fine. Before no, stop, new information, actually it costs 4 now, go from that point, it costs 4, make your decisions from there. Seems like that would make sense, but
that's the slippery slope of like the new information debate, which everybody has when it's like, should you take something back or not? Theoretically, new information was given, which is you messed up. That is the incredibly harsh, and some games rule that way. Once again, it's not my personal opinion.
That's fair.
But it's just like, oh yeah, the new information that you made a boo-boo, and like, how much do we let people take boo-boos back? I don't know. In my world, I think, oh yeah, whatever, it's fine. It's not apparent, as you said, like it's a ruling issue more so than a, But then people say, oh, if you don't know the rules, you still made a mistake just because you didn't know the rules. Like, ignorance of the rule doesn't mean whatever.
Yeah, I can see that. I guess it's at the judge staff's discretion at this point.
Yep.
So, I mean,
because the unit wasn't technically like illegally casted or anything. It was casted. It was a legal play you can make. You just like mistapped your rune, which is something people do all the time. Some people tap no runes at all. But it's just these things happen. And it wasn't like they casted it to a base that said like you can't play something here. That's an actual legal play and would have to be rewind according to my understanding of the rules, because you just physically could not do that.
Right, if they just put it in play and they weren't able to cast it,
right,
like, oh,
they put it on,
you made that decision.
What is it, like Rockfall Pit or whatever it is, where it's just like units cannot be played here, that new battlefield from set 2?
Yeah,
they made an illegal play. They like physically could not do that. Like you can argue then, well, I have to make a whole new play now. That being said, what they did
then where would you put it from there? Like if you controlled the other battlefield, where would the Rockfall Pit unit go?
In my understanding of the rules, I would say you have to recast it because you made an illegal play, but I don't know.
Right.
It looks like it is standing that it has to stay home.
Yep.
That is.
Well, if they can't break both of these, it may actually end up being better that there's a unit in base, hilariously enough, for the reasons we talked about.
Granted, we'd have to get over another 6 power, but yeah. We're going to see 4 on there. A Falling Star.
Watcher?
What was found?
It was a Falling Star. Be a Watcher, but I think it was Falling Star.
It looks like Falling Star. I think you're right.
It does.
It's Falling Star and Poggers Day, so we're down to 3, which means, we're down to 9, which means we have Poggers Day and then like Stupefy is a potential draw. Because at this point of the turn,
you don't need to Poggers Day.
Right, but at this point, there's no reason not to, right?
No, because you actually can draw from the Sentry and draw naturally from the...
Yeah, you're always making the move, right? You're going to go into Sentry. They're obviously not going to back.
We kind of did -4 on the only unit that can actually just go back.
I'm curious if Randy is supposed to send this back and trust his hole on the other side.
Yeah,
because I believe you should.
I mean, we have Foth, right? So one of the units just isn't...
Oh, right.
It's tough. It's really hard to make this call, right? You have to decide, because you're denying a draw, though, which is really important. It's just...
Yeah, you're denying a draw. You are setting yourself up to counter hold, which your Foth is kind of already doing.
He's bluffing. It's an Ezreal. He's bluffing.
Yeah.
It's an Ezreal in hand.
I do believe you should back here. Yes, I do believe you should. You deny a draw.
Oh no, he gets the draw.
You still don't. You still get the draw,
you still do deny a draw. Yeah, you are still denying a draw.
Yeah. Well, there's the
Watcher.
And that is exactly... So the thing here is we've used 3, so we can either accelerate or Falling Star. I think the correct thing is to not accelerate.
Yeah.
Because Falling Star will come through, and I think our player has realized this.
And that is going to be the game on...
Yep.
That is the game on the decision that the Rasa had to stay home. Randy is going to fall here to Kaisa in the semifinals.
Yep.
And his run will be stopped there.
Yeah.
Damn.
That is tough for Randy, but Kaisa is going to make it. That decision does make it happen, though. Unfortunate that that's how the run is going to end, on kind of this like misstep from this judge call from this spot. Randy will never make that mistake again for sure, as I'm sure he will be bringing this once again to Bologna, trying to make that run back, see if he can get the win, but that will be Kaisa making the final.
I'm trying to play it out, so let's just pretend nothing changed, and we throw a Sentry in, and dies, and we draw a Watcher.